outside and warm up a little there. So like you said, and we see there, the snow kind of stopped, at least for the moment there in Lackawanna. And it's like you said in one of the earlier newscasts, Todd, you know, it's obviously later now, but this is a good moment, that break in the snow, to maybe clear out a little bit while you can.
Especially if you have pets. I mean, this becomes a real challenge. If you have that much snow on the ground, you see small dogs or something like that, the best you can do sometimes is clear a little tiny area outside the back door. But
and then you see the bigger dogs just dive right into the snowbanks.
You lose dogs and stuff like this. So, yeah, and it's incredible because, of course, Mike knows that he's not done with this. And I had put this picture in partially because this is a friend of mine's house, but partially because I wanted to remember to at least mention this. A lot of houses have, you know, those furnace vents down closer toward the foundation, and especially where you have 2-3 feet of snow on the ground, you want to clear areas around that. In their case, Scott's got to get up on the roof here and clear out their exhaust pipe. And this is a one-story house with a lofted area, so it's not super high off the ground. I'm not suggesting you go up on your roof unless you're extremely confident with doing that, but I at least wanted to mention this because especially when you get this deeper snow, this happened to our house years ago here in Buffalo, where enough snow gets near that intake pipe, your furnace will shut off because it can tell that something is clogging or obstructing the intake for the furnace. So it's worth checking on those, just kind of clearing out an area around them. Otherwise, they're just two pipes sticking out the side of your house that you normally don't have to touch at all. Some areas where that may be a concern, especially from around West Seneca southward, the numbers drop off substantially as you head north. Technically, the airport's had a foot of snow, but only about 4.5 inches of it today. The rest of it was last night. Of course, the big number here, 54 inches in Orchard Park, that one updated. A lot of these numbers that show up in this brighter pink color, this whole stretch in here, are 30 inches plus. And I've only taken the snowfall reports from the last 6 hours to show on here. So you really get an idea of some extreme amounts of snow that are on top of roofs and that sort of thing. If you ever need help cleaning off a roof, one thing you can do is call a roofing company. That's actually a great way to deal with it, where you don't have to go up there and someone who's competent and confident can go do it for you. I have a feeling they're going to be busy the next few days. I worked for one in college and used to shovel roofs in New Hampshire. Meanwhile, these are the gusts, and we're going to likely see gusts like this tonight and again tomorrow. By Sunday, the gusts will pick up potentially even some numbers near 40 miles per hour. So that's going to be one thing tonight. We'll have some blowing and drifting snow, not consistently, but from time to time. All of our live crews have mentioned they've seen this so far this evening. Temperatures are basically headed into the mid and lower 20s and upper teens for all of Western New York. So it'll be colder than last night. Anything that melted today got slushy and sloppy. That's all going to be crunchy and slick overnight. So keep that in mind. Also, a lot of areas where the snow has moved off to the south, maybe roads have been cleared, but sidewalks have not. There are a lot of places where people are walking in roads. So just keep your eyes really peeled. You may find people in places they normally wouldn't be walking. The band, we had mentioned, Mike had mentioned that it settled just south of him, Lackawanna right about there. As the band settles south, it is going to make a run back north. As we get closer toward 10, 11 o'clock tonight, I expect to see that basically in motion back up through Buffalo, and that'll be our really next window for snow showers around the city. A lot of areas there that have actually had a good amount of time to clear out. I was using the plow tracker earlier. That is kind of cool to see all the areas that have been cleared and sometimes areas that are not. You kind of get a better concept of the amount of streets that have to be dealt with. And looking at early tomorrow morning, that band is likely to start off the day up in northern Erie County into central and western Niagara counties. So that's where the kind of emphasis will be for tomorrow, or the trickier travel. For tonight, it's still some of these same areas that I showed you with the snow on the ground. Well, these are additional totals. Technically from 4 p.m. through tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning. I have basically been working off the numbers that I did when I came in the door. I can't trim a lot out because it takes time to go through and do that. But for what it's worth, all these areas when you get to around Buffalo northward, all that is during the day tomorrow, basically, from late tonight through early tomorrow morning. So that's where you add up a little bit more in Tonawanda, Williamsville, Kenmore. Not big numbers for these areas, but it's on top of the snow you've already seen, and that should easily push a lot of totals locally to over a foot. So when you look at the winds, basically the bottom thing here I was going to try to show is just that you're dealing with gusts to 30 to 35 tonight, similar tomorrow, and then gusts to around 40 Sunday with a widespread 2 to 4 inches for many areas worth of snow, especially early on in the day, a little bit more in the hills of Chautauqua County. We'll get to that event eventually. First, let's get through this one. Jordan.
All right, Todd, thank you very much.